Hey everybody, so I know I said that the marathon video for the Dopey challenge was going to be my last video of that series, but as I was finishing up that video and doing all the editing and all that fun stuff, the last bit actually ended up being more kind of tips for the Dopey challenge. So instead of making like a 40-minute video, I decided that I wanted to kind of separate those two out with the marathon and completion of the Dopey, and then this video with tips for the Dopey. I want to do a tips video for both runners and also spectators, which oddly enough, out of all the videos I watched before the Dopey was something that I didn't find too much of. So I wanted to share some spectator tips as well, just kind of let you know what you can find in this video right off the top. Believe it or not, this is my third time actually attempting to record this video. Every time I've done it, I've found things that I didn't like. And if you know me, I don't usually re-record things. I don't usually take notes. I don't usually have a script or bullet points or anything like that. I usually just kind of go off the top of my head. But this video is like actually really important to me, and I think that it's going to do a lot of good for people that want to do the Dopey. So I want to make sure that I do it right. So I actually took the time to write out some bullet points, and I want to talk about in this video because, like I said, I think it's important, and I want to make sure that people are prepared for the absolutely gargantuan task that is the Dopey challenge. So if you see me kind of reading my notes and everything over here, that's what it is. I'm not just going to read it verbatim. Obviously, I just have my bullet points, but that's going to be different than my normal videos where I'm just kind of going off the top of my head, which is how I usually like to do things. So honestly, this is a little uncomfortable for me to have actual talking points. So bear with me just a little bit. I also want to link to some of the videos that I watched in the description. I have a playlist with them all. I found so much useful information. I got so much encouragement from people that I've never met. They've never met me, from the United States, Canada, the UK, other places. I think Australia was one of them too that came out here and did the Dopey. So I really want to kind of pay it forward a little bit. They really prepared me for the Dopey challenge and encouraged me. So I want to kind of pay it forward a little bit and link to some of those videos in the description as well, and also some of my my own tips, obviously, for the Dopey challenge. So as I said, one of the things that I didn't really find too much of in all my research, and boy did I research for the Dopey challenge, I did not find a whole lot of tips on spectating. If you watch the entire series, that first video where I was kind of going through my training and talking about what my wife's plans were, that was just kind of off the top of my head. Some of it worked, some of it definitely did not. I'll get into that. So yeah, I didn't find a whole lot of spectating tips. So I want to kind of make sure that I include that for any kids that are going with you, spouses, partners, whatever. I want to make sure that I include spectating tips. So that's what I kind of wanted to start off with here, which is spectating, which as you know was kind of my wife's thing. I was running the Dopey, so obviously I wasn't worried about spectating too much. Obviously, I was trying to make it easier on her, but that was ultimately her thing. So if you watch the video series, she came in on the 10K day, and she was there for the half and the full. We stayed at Beach Club for the half and full, and then for the 4 days that we were on our little runcation after the Dopey was finished. So one of the big things that changed from our original plan was she was going to cheer me on at the Magic Kingdom for the half marathon. Unfortunately, buses are really the only way that you can get to the Magic Kingdom, meaning you have to take a runDisney bus to the start line at Epcot and then Monorail to the Magic Kingdom. You cannot take a regular resort bus to get to Main Street and view the races. It's just, you're not going to get there early enough. On the half marathon day, I basically told her, don't worry about coming to see me. We were going to Magic Kingdom that day anyway. Just go, sleep in a little bit. I will see you at Magic Kingdom after I finished and showered and all that stuff. So when I left Magic Kingdom, so I left Magic Kingdom as what, mile, I think 8, 7 or 8-ish. She was getting on the bus to leave the Beach Club. So I'm like, oh, she'll get to Magic Kingdom in plenty of time. It took her an hour and a half to get from Beach Club to Magic Kingdom on half marathon morning because the route basically takes the main road from to Magic Kingdom. So it's all cut off, and she was texting me as I was finishing the half and saying, I'm stuck in, I'm not moving. I'm bored by Fort Wilderness. I'm not moving at all. So yeah, it took her about an hour and a half. So basically by the time she got to Magic Kingdom, again, remember, she was leaving the hotel on a bus the same time I was leaving the Magic Kingdom on my feet. I was finishing the race. I was done. So yeah. So if you want to see your runner at Magic Kingdom during the half marathon or the full marathon, there's really only 2 ways that you can do it. And if you can do it, you should, because it's fantastic. You saw videos of people cheering on Main Street. We all love to see the spectators. They lift us up so much as we're running the races. So if you can, make sure you do it. So the resort buses from your resort are not going to work. Uber or Lyft is not going to work. So there's really only 2 ways that you can actually do that. So that takes me to tip 1. It's a big ask, but tip 1 is, if you can, stay at a monorail resort. And again, this is if your priority is seeing your runner at Magic Kingdom on race day. Like I said, it's a big ask, it's an expensive ask, but this is really the easiest way for you to get to the Magic Kingdom in the morning, to get on Main Street, to cheer your runner, cheer all of the runners, because like I said, we really appreciate it. So basically from your monorail resort, you can do the loop into the Magic Kingdom, go to Main Street. You can see your runner on Main Street, and then if time permits, you can do the loop back to the Ticket and Transportation Center, and then see your runner at the TTC as they pass there. If, again, assuming the route is pretty much the same as it was this year. Obviously it fluctuates a little bit year in and year out based off of construction needs and things like that. But typically, from doing my research, it pretty much always goes through Main Street and always goes through the TTC. So if you're quick, you can do that, or if you have a slow runner like me, you can probably do that too. And then from there, you can monorail over to Epcot to see your runner at the finish line. So basically, you stay at a monorail resort, you have the opportunity to possibly see your runner 3 times during the half and full, which would be Main Street, TTC, and then the finish line at Epcot. If not, you can at least see them on Main Street and the finish. You'll make it back to the finish. Even the fastest runners, I'm sure, you can make it to the finish after seeing them on Main Street. You can beat them to see them at the finish. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to take the last Run Disney bus in the morning. So in the morning, the buses for Run Disney races, they're not just for the runners, they're also for spectators. So there's a lot of spectators joining with their runners in the morning, whether it's 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning, whatever it is. So for example, I took the bus at 3 o'clock every morning to get to the starting line. So my wife could have gone on the bus with me at 3 o'clock in the morning, gone to the start, seen me at the start, and then monorailed over to the Magic Kingdom. She could have done that. The final buses from the resorts were at 5 a.m. for the 5K and 10K, and 4:30 a.m. for the half, and 4 a.m. for the full. My advice would be to have your spectator take the last Run Disney bus from the resort in the morning. They pick up at the same spot as the runners. Let them get maybe a little bit extra sleep than the runner, and then from there they can either see you at the start, or they can hop the monorail right there where the buses let off to the Ticket and Transportation Center, and then over to Main Street, see you there, back to the TTC to see you a second time, again, depending on how fast your runner is, how slow your runner is, how fast the monorails are going, and then they can go back to Epcot on the monorail and then see you at the finish. So that would be kind of the only way that I could see to be able to see your runner at Main Street and the finish, is to get up early, non-monorail resort, and then take the bus over and then do that. So basically, one of those tips basically requires you to stay at a monorail resort, hop the monorail from your Magic Kingdom resort, and then basically whenever your runner is going to be entering Magic Kingdom. The other one basically requires you to get up almost as early as your runner, but those are really the only 2 options that I can suggest for that. So being that it took her so long to get to the Magic Kingdom for the half marathon, for the full, we actually changed things up a little bit from our original plan. So, and bear with me, this is a crazy plan. Originally, she was going to go to the Magic Kingdom on the monorail, take a bus to Animal Kingdom, see me there, and then over to Boardwalk to see me there, and then we were going to basically just meet in Epcot after I finished the full marathon. This is on marathon day. In retrospect, absolutely horrendous plan. completely insane plan. Don't do it. It's not going to work. I'm just going to put it out there. So we actually changed a few things. So first of all, we basically cut off Magic Kingdom from Marathon morning at all. And then secondly, she basically took the resort bus over to Animal Kingdom. Because Animal Kingdom opened at 7:30 for early entry, so she took the bus over there to see me, which was about mile 18 or so. So there was no issues with the bus because the bus route from Beach Club and pretty much every other resort other than a Magic Kingdom resort, the Marathon route and the bus route are kind of separately. So there was no issues with getting over to Animal Kingdom from Beach Club. And like I said, probably from any resort that's not a Magic Kingdom resort, you shouldn't have a problem getting over to Animal Kingdom from any of those resorts on the resort bus. So my tip number 3 is to see a runner at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So for this tip, obviously you're going to actually need a park ticket or an annual pass. Because at Magic Kingdom, if you were there before 7:30, you don't need a ticket to see a runner on Main Street. But with Animal Kingdom, the park is actually open when most of the runners go through Animal Kingdom, so you will have to have a ticket. Obviously, if you are married to or with a very fast runner, they may actually even get through Animal Kingdom before the park even opens, so this would not be an option for you if you have one of those super fast Corral A runners. But for most of us, we're not getting through Animal Kingdom before 7:30 in the morning on Marathon Day. So spectating at Animal Kingdom, as my wife said, is actually pretty elite. You get to see all the runners going through the park. It's easy to get in. They've got signs all over the place. They've got signs welcoming the spectators. They're telling you where to go to see the spectators. There's people cheering. Cast members are cheering as well. You can stop and get your runner a beer like my wife did for me, which was awesome. She had a really great time cheering. She was actually there for about an hour and a half before I even got there, just cheering on the other runners. And then obviously once I passed her, she left Animal Kingdom, hopped the bus, and headed back over to our hotel at the Beach Club. So that actually brings me to tip number 4, which is to see your runner at the finish line. Finish lines for marathons, any marathon, whether it's Disney, whatever marathon it is, they're actually just really amazing. They're inspiring. People are accomplishing a goal that they set out to do, however long ago they did it. They set out to train for this marathon, even half marathons, right up there as well. There's just so much inspiration. So I do encourage you, even if you don't know anybody, just go to a finish line of a major marathon or a major race, or even not a major race, your local half marathon, and just cheer people on. It's really kind of amazing. So just the amount of love and support that you see at a finish line for any race is just it's really awesome. So as I mentioned, my wife's original plan was to meet me at the see me at the boardwalk as we ran through there. It's mile 24, between 24 and 25 at the boardwalk. She was going to cheer me on there, and then we were basically going to meet inside Epcot after I finished. Turns out we actually had some friends that were coming out from Tampa to cheer me on at the finish. So she decided, I'm going to see you at the finish instead. I'm going to meet up with our friends, hang out, we'll cheer you on to the finish. So she basically skipped seeing me at the boardwalk because there was no way, even though I was at mile 24, 25 of the marathon, she wasn't going to be able to beat me from mile 20, from the boardwalk to the finish. It just wasn't going to happen. So this was actually the best plan because by the time I was done with Dopey, I just wanted to see my wife, the hugs, the kiss, see my friends, hugs, all that fun stuff. She had so much fun cheering at the finish as well, along with the American Cancer Society group that we were fundraising for. So basically, to wrap up our spectator tips before we get into our runner tips, if you're staying at a Monorail resort, Monorail to the Magic Kingdom, see a runner on Main Street, and or the ticketed transportation center, depending on their speed, depending on the monorails, how the monorails are running, you just kind of have to wing it a little bit. That'll work for both the full and the half marathon. So that's not just for the full. For the full marathon, if you are staying at a non-monorail resort, bus to the Animal Kingdom, see a runner at Expedition Everest. From there, you can actually take the bus to any resort and then take a bus to Epcot. Since you have a park ticket and hopefully it is a park hopper ticket, I would actually recommend taking the bus to Beach Club. and then avoiding the front area of Epcot. The front area of Epcot during race days is insanely busy. There's going to be traffic, people leaving that are finished, people arriving for the day at the park, buses, etc. So my advice would be take the bus to Beach Club and then walk through International Gateway, go through Epcot, walk through Epcot to the front of the park, to the finish line, and see your runner there. You got plenty of time. Again, even the fastest of runners, if you see them in Animal Kingdom, that's mile 18. That's at least 8 miles. So even the fastest runner, you've got, an hour, most likely. That's plenty of time for you to get over to Epcot to see them at the finish. So unfortunately, it'd be rather difficult to see your runner more than a couple times, just because of the way the race is spread out. Hollywood Studios, it's too close to the finish line. You wouldn't be able to actually see them at Hollywood Studios and then get over to Epcot to see them at the finish. The only way that I could think of is maybe if you happen to catch a boat right when it was leaving, but it's still going to be making 4 stops between Hollywood Studios and Epcot, and chances are that they are going to beat you over to the International Gateway. So that would Hollywood Studios would be pretty much out too, unless you really want to see a runner in Hollywood Studios. All right, so let's move over to some tips for runners. So my tip number 5 is to celebrate your accomplishment. And what I mean is directly after you finished your final race. So whether that's the half, the full, 10K, whatever it is, challenge, goofy challenge, dopey challenge, whatever it is, celebrate. So a couple of days before the full, I decided that after I was done with Dopey, I wanted to ride Guardians of the Galaxy. So we ended up actually getting a lightning lane for about an hour after my projected finish time, so that I can get pics, change, freshen up a little bit as much as you can after a marathon. So many people, they actually leave like right after the race is done. They're locals. I'm going home. I'm going to go take a nap in the hotel. I have a flight to catch in a few hours. I need to get to the airport, and they just leave when they're done. The race is all they do. But if your time allows you to celebrate your Disney accomplishment, it's a Disney race, it's fun. So celebrate with whatever it is that you want to do. Get a park ticket. If you have an annual pass, use your annual pass. Go into the parks, have some fun. If you can't do that, go have lunch at Disney Springs or one of the resorts, and then just, have a nice lunch. Do something fun. It's not really good to just sit down and take a nap or, sit on a plane right after a marathon anyway. So you need to walk around, you need to keep those legs moving. So celebrate in the way that you want to celebrate. For us, it was Guardians of the Galaxy. I had a lunch, grabbed a beer, walked around World Showcase for a little bit, had a couple snacks, and then we went over to Beach Club to our hotel, shower, nap, and then we had dinner at Ohana that night, and then obviously staying for a few days after the full. So that was kind of our idea of celebrating. So before I get into tip number 6, I wanted to give a special shout out to all of the amazing PhotoPass people at Walt Disney World and Disneyland as well. They're just really great. Going through the parks to get medal pictures after the races. They all kind of said, this is our favorite week. We love finding new poses, new ways to take pictures of you with your medals. And it showed. I went on 5K day, 10K day, half day, and obviously full day. And then for the 4 days that we were there afterwards, getting pictures in all the parks. They're all over the place. And then obviously during the race as well. Just a really great thing to do. So my 6th tip is to spring for the photo package. So we actually added it to our annual pass. It was about $100, but I think it's $185, $180 without an annual pass. But it was completely worth it. But one thing you can do is, as you're approaching Dopey, or I'm sure some other Disney races as well, join some Disney groups, because what was happening is people were actually combining their photo packages. So they were basically putting a whole bunch of people on one photo pass for that weekend. So they were kind of dividing up the cost, so it wasn't so cost prohibitive. I'm sure Disney probably doesn't like that people do that, but what are they going to do? So join some groups, and as you approach Dopey, as I said, or any of the other Walt Disney World races, you'll kind of start seeing posts that say, hey, we were getting a group together for a PhotoPass package. It's not going to just be your pictures. You're going to have to kind of weed through the pictures and go through and find your pictures, but that is an option, and again, it's totally worth it. I think one of the groups that I saw, it ended up being like $10 a person by race weekend, and it got filled up that much. So definitely take that into consideration if you want to get your photos and do that. All right, so tip number 7, I'm going to preface this with they don't sponsor me. I am not a fast runner. I bought these after people were talking about it. I wasn't sure they'd actually work, but they worked amazingly well. So tip 7 is get recovery sandals. I got the UFOS recovery sandals. I got them off of Amazon, but I know there's a whole bunch of other ones out there, and they absolutely worked. I'll be honest, I was very skeptical. After the marathon, I put them on before we even went in Epcot. I took them in my check bag for the full. I put them on when I changed before we went into Epcot, and I did not put on tennis shoes, the rest of the week. Sunday being at Epcot and Ohana, Monday in the parks, Tuesday in the parks, Wednesday in the parks, Thursday in the parks, Friday flying home, I did not put shoes on once. I wore these sandals the entire time. I was sore, of course, because I had just done, the Dopey challenge, but I've done marathons before. I've done half marathons before. I was not anywhere near as sore as I had anticipated I would be. To be honest, Saturday after the half was the most sore I was for the entire time that I was in Florida, other than getting up in the mornings and kind of moving around at first. So definitely recommend those. I even wore them after the Disneyland half a couple weeks ago, and they were amazing. So I can't recommend them enough. Recovery Sandals, thumbs up from your boy. Tip number 8, it kind of goes back to tip number 5, which is celebrating your accomplishment, but this time I'm talking about more than just the immediate aftermath of the race. If you can, stay a couple days after the challenge is over. Have a runcation. Walking is really good for you. Don't head straight home after the races are done. Stay for a couple days. Enjoy the parks with your recovery sandals on. Have a nice dinner. Whatever it is that you want to do. You're gonna have to go into the parks and get your medal pictures anyway, right? That's part of the entire experience. So at least one day. Having fun in the parks and getting your pictures is definitely, I would recommend. Our original plan, we were going to do Tuesday to Tuesday for the Dopey. If you watched the series, you know that I kind of talked about our change in plans a little bit. So I flew it on Tuesday. We were originally going to just stay to the Tuesday after the full, which would have been 2 days after. And we actually ended up staying until Friday morning instead. And that was really just the best call. So we just got to have like a little mini vacation after. Like I said, I wasn't sore. We were in the parks pretty much every day. Those 4 days, full days in the parks, got to have a nice little vacation. It wasn't just running. We made kind of a vacation out of it. So don't just make it about the running, go there to have fun. Also, if you're going with your family, your spouse, partner, whoever you're going with, for me, I don't think it's really fair to just run and then go home. You want to actually enjoy some time. So just, try to make it a little mini vacation. All right, tip 9, pack, and overpack. I would say for the Dopey, 25% of my checked bags going to the Dopey were throwaway clothes. So throwaway sweats, throwaway hoodies, shirts, backup shoes. My backup shoes, I'll get into that in a second. Seriously overpacked because it was actually very cold this year. Other years it's been rainy, other years it's been hot. So maybe you don't need it. Once you actually get there, it's Florida weather, it can change in 10 seconds. But overpack, and whatever you don't keep, whatever you don't want, whatever you don't need, toss to the side before the races, in the crowds, or during the race. All of that gets donated. All of those clothes that people toss, they all get donated to local charities in Orlando. I also saw a great tip, which was to pack your clothes, all your running clothes, in Ziploc bags, the big ones. Here's some pictures. So not only does this make sure you get everything packed, you don't have to keep rechecking, did I pack this, but also after each race, you get to put your clothes back in there and zip them up, and the smell doesn't get anywhere, so you won't be smelling them for the duration of your runcation. So yay, bonus one. My wife even actually wrote little inspirational messages on each of the bags. Even the day she was there, that I would see as I was opening the bag, getting my run clothes ready every morning. I would see the little messages from her. It was really nice, really great. It's like even the 10K and the 5K day, even though she wasn't there, it was like she was there. So before you go to your race, go to your local Goodwill, your local secondhand store, get some throwaway hoodies, throwaway clothes. Make sure you wash them before you go, pack them. and then you'll be good. What thing that we do as well is we use the vacuum bags. We got ours at Costco, but I think Amazon has them too. So you can fit so much in them. The only thing you have to worry about is the weight. Obviously, I think coming home, the weight of our bag was 61 pounds, so we had to obviously rearrange some things. They suck out all the air, but they don't suck out the weight. So keep that in mind. But I actually use those for my carry-on bags that I had all of my run stuff in, and also my check bags. So that kind of also comes along with this. Do not check your run clothes. Carry them on. That includes your outfits for all 4 days, and most especially your running shoes. Anything else that you are planning on taking for the Dopey Challenge or any race that you are flying for, anything else can be replaced. Your running shoes cannot. You do not want to run a race in brand new shoes ever. You want to make sure that you're running in broken-in shoes. So that is the most important thing that you make sure you do not check is your running shoes. But carry on all of your run stuff. Anything else you can get when you get there. Not a problem. So like I said, invest in those bags, overpack. If you don't want it, you just leave it in your room. They'll probably donate it from there too. I don't know, but I'm going to guess they probably would. Or take all your extra clothes on marathon morning, toss it aside. There were people that were doing that. They had brought too much throwaway stuff. They didn't use it all. They just brought it to the corrals for the full, and then they just left it there because, like I said, it all gets donated. Tip 9A, here's a 9A here, kind of relates to that, is take backup shoes. It's Florida. Chances are it is going to rain at least one of the 4 days of the Dopey Challenge, if not more. It rained on half marathon day. I had my backup shoes, which were basically my training shoes. I took them with me. I wore them on half day because I knew it was going to rain. I had my poncho. So make sure you take those back shoes. You do not want to run in wet shoes. If it happens every other day, just switch off your race shoes with your backup shoes every other day. That way you always have dry shoes. If I had not done that, if I had not taken my backup shoes for the half, I would have been running in wet shoes for the full, and I probably would not have had a good of a race as I did. So that is kind of a 9A. And my last tip, which is probably, in my opinion, the most important tip, this applies to before the race, during the race, at the expo, after the races. Enjoy yourself. The Dopey or whatever Run Disney race you're doing, that's your reward for all of the hard work that you've done. All the training that you put in for a year, 8 months, 5 months, whatever training period it was. This is your reward. Have the best time. It's a Disney race. Don't go in there trying to set a PR for every single individual race. There's people that do, and that's what they want to do. Great. But for your normal run-of-the-mill runners, like 90% of us are, take pictures with the characters, have fun, chat with people in the corrals, make some new friends. I met people from Southern California that in the corral for the 10K. It's been awesome. Cheer everybody on. Some of the courses they have, you see people going back and forth, whether they're in front of you or behind you. Cheer them on coming back the other way. Just have fun with it, because that's why we're doing a Disney race. You want to have fun. You want to enjoy it. You want to enjoy yourself. You're running through the theme parks. You're seeing all the characters out there. People are dressed up. It's a big party. Even if you're having a bad race, just, think about where you are. Think about how far you've come with your fitness journey or whatever journey you're on. Enjoy the hell out of it, because if you're not enjoying it, then, really, what's the point? So that's my last and final tip. All right, so that finally wraps up our Dopey Challenge videos, and everybody says thank you. I think it ended up being, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos now. 7 if you include the Disneyland half video that we posted earlier, or last week, I guess it would be by now. I was really only planning on doing 3 and 4, but I really wanted to take the time to do this tip video. So I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, some of the videos that I watched as I was preparing are going to be in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I will be more than happy to answer them. We're going to have one more Run Disney video coming up over the next couple of weeks. I posted our Disneyland half marathon video the other day. The next one is actually going to be me trying to come up with a better route for the Disneyland half marathon. There was a lot of negative feedback regarding the route of this most recent Disneyland half. I think I've actually come up with a pretty good route that basically stays in the resort area for the full half marathon. So I want to share that with you all. So take care. If you see me at any Disney race or Disney park or any park, feel free to say hi. And we'll see you in September at the Disneyland, Halloween half, right? September. Yep. All right. See you then. Take care.